Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Manning from CQUniversity, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to finally share some details with you about our new program, our Gateway to Industry Schools program. So today there's a bit of an introduction for all of our industry partners that gave support for the program. I'm going to go through some details around what the program looks like, how you can get involved, and some different contact details for us as well. So the Agribusiness Gateway to Industry Schools project is managed by us at CQUniversity. It's funded by the Department of Trade, Employment and Training and delivered in partnership with three key partners, which are AgriFutures Australia, the Queensland Agricultural Teachers Association or QUATA, and AgForce Queensland School to Industry Partnership Program. And as part of this project, we've got two key streams that we're going to touch on today. The first is stream 1, which is about becoming a gateway school, and our second is around all the different ways that teachers can engage in the program through some teacher professional development. So if we look at the first part, which is stream 1 around our gateway schools, each year we're going to be selecting 15 gateway schools to work closely with annually, and we'll be working with them over the 12-month period and working with them to develop a program of their choosing of how they can integrate agriculture and food and fibre concepts not only in agriculture or their subject of choice, but across the school, across a number of different subjects and different curriculums. And we're going to have two different programs, really recognising that we've got lots of different schools. Some already have an established agricultural program, and perhaps they're looking at a way to be able to expand that program to a new agricultural sector. Maybe it's to implement a new technology, or they're looking at ways to be able to partner with other sectors that they don't have any experience in. But what we also know is we've got a number of schools that might not offer agriculture but are looking to implement it into the future, or they're looking at ways of how they can integrate some of these different agriculture and agribusiness concepts into other subjects that they already offer at their school. So we've got these two different programs and opportunities that schools can participate in, whether they've classified as an established agricultural program in school or they're an emerging agricultural program. And a big part of this program is getting them to think about how they can start embedding agriculture, not only in agriculture or their subject of choice, but in lots of other different subjects. And we all know that agriculture needs lots of different skills, lots of different types of people, and people with different interests. And really for this program, we're trying to get schools to think about how they can start bringing together a number of different teachers and subjects to create a program that goes across the school. For each of those 15 schools that has been successful, they will receive $2,500 in funding to support their initiatives, and it really is up to them of how they might want to spend it. For some of them, they'll look at spending it on things like infrastructure or buying different technology to implement. But for others, it might be using it for things like hiring buses so they can do some excursions and actually get students out of school and actually on farm or to a business and seeing things in the real world. What we'll also be doing is tailoring professional development, not only for the teacher or that has applied for the Gateway School and has been successful, but for the entire school. So bringing that entire school together, tailoring and creating some PD that suits them and what they want to achieve in their program throughout the 12 months, and really trying to build their confidence to be able to deliver some engaging and industry relevant lessons in their subjects and across other different subjects at the school. Our CQU project team will also be visiting each of these schools in person, giving them some opportunity for some hands-on guidance, support, and also that professional development as well. And they'll also be facilitating industry connections, and whether that's through incursions or excursions or different ideas or troubleshooting as they go throughout the 12 months. A really big part is going to be you guys as our industry partners, helping to support these schools, especially for our schools who might be having an emerging agricultural program, don't have those established agricultural connections, and they're really going to need support over the 12 months about how they can build them and find some different networks. The key opportunity for the Gateway schools to participate is through these 4 different aspects. The first is around curriculum integration. So if they are successful as a Gateway school, a requirement is going to be that they develop a lesson that goes across a number of different subjects that can be implemented and then also used as case studies for other schools across the state, so made available to everyone across Queensland. The second is around industry engagement, and so facilitation of different excursions or incursions and helping them to support them to establish some new connections, but also to help them to be able to sustain these connections after that 12-month period when we're not seeing them as much. The third is some pathways to employment, so showcasing to them the different ways that we can get students to think about employment opportunities in agriculture, and whether that is school-based opportunities such as a placement, school-based traineeship or apprenticeship, or getting them to think about those next steps, vocational education, tertiary education, or just opportunities that they could slot into once they leave school. And then ongoing support. So we're going to be supporting these schools throughout that 12-month period, catching up with them on a regular basis, helping them to develop a work plan and stepping them through what they'll need to do to be able to achieve that program over the 12 months, and then help build those connections so they can sustain that program after the 12 months. Some key dates for our Stream 1 for those gateway schools. We're just about to open those applications. So in a couple of weeks' time on Feb 3, those applications for schools will be open. We're hosting our first webinar for these schools, giving them some different hints for their application, what to expect, and also the expectations if they're successful for participating in the program. And they'll be on the 10th of Feb. On the 24th of March, those applications will close, and on the 22nd of April, we'll be announcing those successful gateway schools for 2025. Our second part of the program, or Stream 2, is all around teacher PD, and this is just as equally important for the program. Whilst we're working really closely with 15 schools, our Stream 2 for our teacher PD is giving teachers all around Queensland, regardless of where they're located, their level of experience or confidence in agriculture, an opportunity to engage in the program as well. So through one aspect they'll be able to participate is that we are developing a curriculum aligned module for years 7 to 8, 9 and 10, then 11 and 12. And this module is really going to be hands-on activity focused on those real world case studies by industry partners and showcasing to them how they'll be able to integrate this module across a number of different subjects at their school. And we're going to develop a new module annually, so there'll be a new one that will be released every single year for teachers and schools to engage with. If you've got some ideas, I really encourage you to reach out, share them with me, whether it's an AgTech or something, a piece of software that you use on a daily basis that you think schools might be able to engage with. Students and schools really like real world things, so there might be something that you use all the time that could be really relevant that we could create an activity in a module with and implement them into schools. An example is we work with AgriFutures for a number of different years now, which is a food supply chain tracking technology and system. And what we'll be able to do with them is to be able to use their database and their dashboard that they use on a daily basis, create an education version of that as an opportunity to showcase students why we care about tracing food from farm to the plate, and also about food waste. And it was a really engaging way that we could showcase students that aspect by partnering with them. So I know lots of you have lots of really good ideas, so I really do encouraging you to send me an email, even some dot points or a link to anything you might think might be useful. There's also a number of other ways that we'll be offering teacher PD for teachers across Queensland. One of them will be incursions for some of these classrooms to support student learning. We'll be going in, using that module that we've been developed and actually running it with students and using it as a bit of an informal teacher PD opportunity to showcase to them how we would integrate it into their classroom and giving them some different troubleshooting to make sure it's successful for them. We'll also be having some one-day teacher PD workshops across regional and metropolitan Queensland, and also a series of webinars as well. And this is just as important for those teachers that might not be able to make some of those opportunities that are offered face-to-face. They'll still be able to participate in the program in other ways. And so there's some different webinars coming up, everything from some career panels to industry meet and greets to some of the online different teacher PD. Some key dates for Stream 2 to keep an eye out for. In Term 2, we'll be releasing the curriculum aligned module, and we've also got one of our first webinars coming up around an agribusiness career panel. So we're accepting some self-nominations now. Maybe you want to tap yourself on the shoulder and nominate yourself, but maybe you also want to recommend one of your team members that has a really interesting story that might be able to resonate with both teachers and students. I encourage you to send me an email, get in contact, share their details. So now up to you guys, our industry partners, of why we're here today to catch up about this project. We're really fortunate enough to have over 20 different companies, all of you, give letters of support for this project, and you can really see the wide diversity of partners that we've got on this project to be able to engage with. So there's a number of different ways that you guys will be able to get involved over the next couple of years, and I've just listed some different examples here. It could be that you might partner with a local school in your region once we announce those 15 gateway schools. It could be sharing your networks and connections for schools in other regions that might need to establish some new connections. Maybe you've got a resource, technology, machinery, software that you might be able to share with a school, loan it out for a term so they can integrate it into their classroom, or maybe they might want to participate and be able to visit you or do an incursion to talk about it. Maybe you could host an excursion or participate in a Zoom call or an incursion in that classroom. Provide mentorship for some teachers and schools. Give us some new ideas, or maybe review some of the modules that are developed throughout the program. Or perhaps it's another way of your choice. And these are just some different examples of ways that you'll be able to get involved. But most importantly, you don't need to decide or do anything right now. If you do have ideas, you're more than welcome to reach out, send them through now. Otherwise, the next steps for us and for our industry partners is that we'll be advising you of those successful gateway schools for 2025 when they're announced on the 22nd of April. And what we'll also share is who those schools are, the region they're located in, what they hope to achieve in the program over those 12 months, and examples of how you can assist them. And then we'll also be able to give you a variety of different updates as they arise via email, so whether it's opportunity to participate on a panel, of a webinar, or maybe it's an in-person event that's happening in a certain region in Queensland. These are all of our contact details. If you've got any queries at any time, you can always reach us at ageducation@cqu.edu.au. I've signed you all up to our mailing list, but if you've got a colleague, someone else you work with, an employee, another business, or perhaps it's a school you've already engaged with in Queensland, I encourage you to get them to sign up and join our mailing list so they can keep up to date with opportunities that are offered through our Gateway to Industry Schools program. And I look forward to talking to all of you really soon and sharing some more opportunities with you.